All right, here we go with the audio test again. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Crossing our fingers. All right, here we go with the audio test again. All right, here we go with the audio test again. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Crossing our fingers. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Audio test. Still waiting on confirmation on the audio. We had issues first time around, and bear with us just a moment. All right, sweet. I've been told audio is loud and clear, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone that's already tuned in. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Creighton Pipe with Crypto Answers, and a lot of you have been requesting some technical analysis, a live stream, an update on the market. So that's why we're doing this right now. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for your the motivation there. I really do appreciate that. But anyways, what we're going to talk about tonight is exactly that. I'm going to break down Bitcoin, Ripple. Really, that's all I have set up right now, like actual charts set up. But I might break out Litecoin or something else, especially if you guys request something a little different. Feel free to ask any questions at any time. As always, I'll be tracking questions on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll answer those as best I can. And then we'll go over some news and stuff that I prepared as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First off, I want to mention this. This is a scam. I just read about this moments ago when I was preparing for the stream. The title here is "Scammers Are Impersonating Elon Musk and Donald Trump to Take Your Bitcoin." So from what I gathered, there are fake Twitter accounts, and I think it's mostly perpetrated on Twitter. Don't send anyone any kind of cryptocurrency unless you know exactly who you're dealing with. If you've been following them for quite some time, and you know that you can trust the source, and you want to throw them a bone, sure. But just be very, very careful. If you just recently followed someone, make sure it's not a scam. So just throwing that out there just in case. Now we'll go ahead and start with some Bitcoin analysis here. Been watching Bitcoin forever. The market right now is still following Bitcoin almost to a T. Bitcoin crashes, the market crashes, the market follows in step, and then as it goes up, the market right now is experiencing a sort of renaissance, and it's going up with Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. This was our low of just under 6,000. I think 5,800-ish was about the low there. I did not expect that low of a low. I think we predicted about 8,500, 8,700 in some of our past live streams, and in fact it did dip below that. So I was a little surprised to see that, but not necessarily disappointed, because this is healthy for the market. I've said that I don't know how many times. We could not continue to ride that parabola just up and up and up endlessly. Eventually we had to come back down to earth and find some common sense again, and but hopefully with any luck it'll be upwards and onwards from here. Even while the market was pulling back in mass like that, we were hit with a lot of positive news. LightPay launched, Ripple partnered with I don't know how many different people, many exchanges opening, adding more currency pairs. I think there was a Canadian exchange that added direct Ripple to Canadian dollar pairs. Also, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin to Canadian dollar pairs. I don't even know. There's just endless amounts of positive news, but there are a few notable things that still managed to drive the market down. Unfortunately, we still live in a world where FUD trumps positive news any day of the week, and that's because I think it's smart to always know your risk, know the risk going into whatever you invest in, and when you don't, you may as well keep your money off the table, because you don't want to end up investing into an unlimited risk situation. So when the market is kind of in free fall like that, you want to wait until it finds some solid footing, and then get in when investor confidence is reinstated. So let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. Right now we're looking at near term. We bounced off of this channel I've drawn here. This started back at the peak, back at 20,000, and we've been in this channel all the way down, and we're still in. I'm sorry, I said bullish channel. This is a bearish channel. We're still going down here. Now we have bounced off the bottom fairly convincingly, but we're still near the bottom of the channel. We are. So let's see. We hit 8,000 here. We were unable to. There's a little bit of resistance, but not much. So on the second attempt, we broke 8,000. We traded pretty much sideways there for a little while, but not very long. And now it looks like we've already broken out. Now we're testing 9,000. So this does, to me, indicate some bullish sentiment. Some buyers are coming back. We're not letting the market sit flat very long. The buyers are starting to control the market. Now, keep in mind, we are still in the channel. I think it's going to be about 12,000, 12,500 if we continue trading this way. Once we test 12,500 or so, that's going to be the key moment. If we can break out of that, we can break out of this channel, then it should be off to the races. It should be upwards and onwards for Bitcoin, and the market should follow in step. I don't know if any of you have been listening, or if you follow Dr. Hosp, Dr. Julian Hosp. To me, he's one of the most respected people in crypto. You have Vitalik Buterin, you have Charlie Lee, and then you have Dr. Hosp. Those are the three people that I respect the most. And at the end of September, beginning of January, he said we're going to see $5,000 Bitcoin, and then we're going to see $50,000 Bitcoin. I think either 50 or 40. So he absolutely expected this pullback. He expected it to be just as nasty as it was, but he foresees an awesome bull run to 40 or 50,000. and he's been pretty on point with his predictions to date. So it's just a matter of timing, right? Is this going to happen in February? Is this going to happen near term? Or are we going to have to wait until the end of the year, like next year? So once we test this channel here, I don't know how long that's going to take. Probably, I mean, I've been saying all along, February is going to be a good month for crypto. So I think we will end up testing this and breaking out in February. How long it'll take to see new highs, I'm not sure. But there's still a lot hanging in the balance here. Remember, there's still the Tether subpoena. Tether was subpoenaed by the CFTC, the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. They're trying to get them to come fully transparent and release an audit just to verify that they do have all the funds that they claim to have. Make sure they have a 1-to-1 ratio of US dollars backing all the Tether that they issued. I think that's part of what is keeping the market down to an extent. And then, of course, China is coming back. They're hammering crypto once again. Korea, same thing. I just read an article. I'll go ahead and talk about this. Japanese crypto investors to pay tax of up to 55% on their profits. Now, the Japanese taxation is a little bit different than taxation here in the U.S. I think they do pay higher taxes anyways to an extent, but 55% is absolutely ludicrous. Now, the reason why I pulled this out as something that I think is important is because Japan is kind of a stronghold for the cryptocurrency right now. They licensed 11 exchanges back in September, I think it was, of 2017, and ever since they've been carrying the bulk of crypto trading. Excuse me. But so it's unfortunate to see them taxing it this highly, because I think to an extent it will suppress the market. Now, not everyone is going to be subject to 55% taxes. That's only for the upper echelon who make, what is this, in excess of the equivalent of 367,000 US dollars. So most people are going to be paying significantly less than that, but they are taxing crypto gains pretty highly for the elite. Let's see, let's go back to Bitcoin here for a second. Make sure I was through with that. Really, there's not a whole lot more to say. We flagged off here momentarily. We've already broken out. We're testing 9,000. We need to break through 9,000. This will be pretty important. If we do, though, there's not much between 9,000 and the top of this channel here. I don't think 10,000, even though that's a key number, there might be a little bit of psychological resistance there. There's really not much technical resistance as far as I can tell. I think if we can break 9,000, we'll shoot right through it, and we should hopefully test the upper boundary of this channel within the month. Let's see here. What do we have for questions coming in? I actually did not pull up Facebook. Bear with me one moment. While I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and move on to Ripple. Ripple I've been following very closely. We've been seeing some pretty bullish movement from it here near term. Again, it's been trading in line with Bitcoin as well. We had this pretty good jump from 74 cents up to 90, and then it flagged off. Like, that's a perfect flag. Like, that's bullish. That's what you want to see. And then, surprise, surprise, we continued up to $1. Now, looking back here, there's a lot of resistance around $1 for Ripple. We failed to breach it 1, 2, 3, call it 4 times. This was back the 3rd of February. So here we are testing it again, but we've already it's been denied twice. So we'll have to see, though. This might flag off nicely like it did back here around 90 cents. And if it does, I think we're going to go ahead and move upwards and onward. But that'll depend largely on Bitcoin. If it breaks 9,000, Ripple's going to break $1. Unfortunately, they are still tied together. That's a little bit... I think it's ridiculous at this point. Oh, another thing I didn't mention before. Coinbase. Coinbase pledged to... what was I going to say? SegWit. So Coinbase is going to be implementing SegWit transactions here. I forget the the time window they specified. It's going to be soon though. So part of the reason why Bitcoin has failed so miserably to scale is because even though SegWit was released back in August of 2017, the adoption of SegWit was very, very weak. So that'll help with the scalability to a large extent. SegWit stands for segregated witness. So essentially, it segregates the witness, and that reduces the amount of data required per transaction. So it increases the amount of transactions that can be processed per block. So that's important as a short-term scalability tool. It should help process more transactions. Litecoin was backed up, or I'm sorry, Bitcoin was backed up there for a while. There were 100,000 plus transactions that were not being processed, and network fees shot through the roof. We were looking at like $30 average transaction fees for Bitcoin there for a little while, and it was just absolutely ludicrous. Now, as SegWit is adopted on more of a broader scale, that'll help. That'll help majorly. However, we still have the Lightning Network as more of a long-term scaling tool, and Lightning is actually live. It's just it hasn't been fully tested, and we're still awaiting for more word on that. But short term, this is very bullish for the market. I think this is probably the number one thing pushing Bitcoin and the market higher is Coinbase adding SegWit, adopting SegWit. That's probably the number one bullish thing for the market right now. All right, let me try to pull up the Bitcoin chat or the Facebook chat. It looks like we still do not have any comments on YouTube. I'm monitoring that as well. Anyone watching on YouTube, feel free to ask questions whenever you do have them. Let's see what we have on Facebook. Looks like nothing yet on... Oh, wait. Brian Shepard is asking if I can check out Electrocoin. Is that ECA? I'm trying to remember. That is ECA. It's interesting that you bring that up. I actually bought some ECA not long ago. Just it was a long shot. The Electro project actually is pretty intriguing. The only exchange I could find to buy ECA on was coinsmarkets.com, I believe it was. The site ended up crashing for like a week or two on end. It was pretty nerve-wracking. It is back up now. I have yet to recover my username and password. I didn't even write it down. Like, it's just, that was a complete cluster investment. But Electra actually seems pretty promising. It's ranked 191 or 194 right now. It's well under a penny. That sort of thing seems to be huge with the novice investors, which we're beginning to see more of. They like to go after the penny coins or sub penny coins because in their mind that means profits can be through the roof. To an extent that's true, but you got to keep in mind there are 23.8 billion max supply. We're almost at the max supply already, so there are quite a few in circulation. So this will never be a $15,000 coin like Bitcoin, but it is very similar fundamentally to Verge. It's a privacy coin. I think that if they can get their act together and fulfill some of the promises that they're making, I think Electra could actually be huge. I'm holding a small position. I'm not necessarily expecting too much. It's just kind of a shot in the dark. But yeah, similar to Verge, they're offering a pretty good privacy system. So I'm going to continue to follow that and just see how that develops. Still no comments on Facebook, nothing on YouTube. We'll continue with some news. This is big right now. BitGrail apparently was hacked. 17 million nano was mismanaged. I think what happened was, let's see, unauthorized transactions have emerged that have led to a shortfall of 17 million nano. So somehow people were able to withdraw more nano than they actually had. I don't know what kind of, I haven't done in-depth research on this yet. But for anyone who doesn't know what nano is, that's just Ray blocks rebranded. Ray blocks really rising in popularity during the big crypto boom, throughout December. It offers, free transactions, instant transactions. Ray blocks is a pretty interesting project. It's unfortunate that this has happened to Nano. But yeah, Big Grail did issue a notice. I believe they're insolvent. I think they might be closing down. Let me see here. I didn't read it in its entirety. Big Grail informs its users that the internal checks revealed unauthorized transactions, which led to a 17 million Nano shortfall in amount, forming part of the wallet managed by Big Grail. Today, a charge about this fraudulent activities has been submitted to the competent authorities and now is under police investigation. We inform you that no other currencies have been involved, so at least it's isolated to Nano. It sucks for Nano people. Other announcements will be released shortly. So for now, they have frozen transactions. You can't withdraw. You can't sell. Big Grail is self-contained for the time being. It's going to be interesting to see how this works itself out. But 17 million Nano, that's significant. I saw someone on Reddit posted something to the effect of, I lost millions of dollars due to this hack. And he's hosting an AMA, so that could be interesting if you're a Nano fan. You might want to check into that. But I was going to talk about Ray blocks, which is now Nano. One of my friends at work has been just hyping this through the roof, telling everybody about it. You need to go buy Nano. It's the next Bitcoin. It's going to put Bitcoin to shame. Bitcoin transactions take however long. They're obviously not instant, not even close. But that is one of the things that Ray blocks Nano does boast. So I asked him, I was like, so what's the verification process? What kind of proof system does it work? And he was like, I have no idea. All I know is it's awesome. And so I was like, dude, you need to if you're gonna show this, you need to at least understand how the proof system works. So that's the first thing that I looked at when I was researching Nano myself. So it does use proof of work, but this is completely unlike any proof of work system that I've ever seen in my life. It's not, you don't have to have a miner set aside that you run 24/7. It's very, very energy efficient. Basically, this is all that has to happen in order for its transaction to be verified through Nano. Number one, the block must not already be in the ledger. So this is just a checkpoint to ensure that duplicate transactions cannot happen. And that was my biggest question. I don't understand if Nano is instant, then where's the consensus? How does that happen? It can't possibly happen instantly without. I just didn't understand, but now I do. It uses a system called what is it called? Basically, every person who uses Nano, their account has its own blockchain associated with it. So there's essentially an infinite amount of blockchains associated with Nano. Whenever you open up your Nano wallet, you'll have your own blockchain associated with your own account. Whenever you make a transaction, it's only recorded to your blockchain, and you don't have to reach consensus with the entire community. I'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. It's called a block lattice, okay, block lattice. And that just means that, like I said, every wallet, each individual has their own personal blockchain. That's a pretty interesting concept. But transaction verification, step number 2, it must be signed by the account's owner. So, like with Bitcoin, it uses secure hashing algorithm 256. That's their proof method. This I don't know exactly what it's called. There is a method of signing each transaction. And every time you make a transaction, each individual user does this. That is step 2 in the process. Number 3, the previous block is the head block of the account chain. If it exists but is not the head, it is a fork. I don't fully understand that, but apparently it's important. Step number 4, the account must have an open block. Again, not really sure how to explain that, but step 4 in the process. And number 5, the computed hash must meet the proof of work threshold requirement. And so basically, that's a pretty simple process. It did explain some of the questions that I had. There is a proof system in place. It is very simple, and it actually is possible for these transactions to be made instantly and still be secure. That was the big thing I was wanting to get at there. Their white paper is pretty well written, pretty thorough. I actually stopped reading here as soon as I answered my question. I'll go ahead and resume that later. But if you haven't heard of Nano, it's worth looking into. It's a pretty interesting concept, and I don't know. It could end up replacing Bitcoin to an extent. Obviously, the ecosystem surrounding Bitcoin is still massive. Like, it is very, very dominant because it's used for everything. There's no Ray blocks, there's no nano trading pairs, anything like that. But I think for like market entry situations, or what's the word I'm looking for? So you know how like in Korea, there's a discrepancy in the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the major coins between like U.S. exchanges and Korea. Like, if you're able to sell your Bitcoin in Korea and cash out in Korean won, you can earn a massive premium on your money. Arbitrage, there you go. So in the case of arbitrage, something like Ray blocks would make the arbitrage process much easier, because you can move your capital between the exchanges instantly, buy here, sell here, and you don't have to worry about price fluctuation in the meantime. So for things like that, I think Ray blocks would be very, very useful. All right, moving on. We covered BitGrail, Ray blocks. We already talked about Japanese taxation, 55%. That is absolutely massive. I did touch on this earlier. Let's see here, Coinfield Exchange. This is a Canadian exchange, and they recently announced, let me see if I can find the actual tweet. All right, here we go. XRP to Canadian dollar trading pairs, and XRP to Bitcoin, Dash, Litecoin, and Ethereum trading pairs as well. That's actually pretty huge, right? This would be the equivalent of, or the near equivalent of, Coinbase adding Ripple to US dollar trading pairs. Coinfield is not nearly as big as Coinbase, and that's why this isn't massive news, but it's still a window into the market for Ripple, which is what Ripple proponents have been waiting for a very long time. You can now buy Ripple with fiat. And actually, CEO Mr. Garlinghouse, I think his first name is Brad, he just released a statement on his Twitter earlier saying, Ripple was never designed to replace cryptocurrency. It was actually designed to work hand in hand with fiat, so that you can basically enjoy the best of both worlds. So I think this is very, very bullish for Ripple. It just got a lot easier to acquire Ripple using fiat. Now we're just waiting for Coinbase to add Ripple, because that would be even bigger. But still, this is very good news. Next up, we have LightPay. This is not new news, but this, in my opinion, is one of several things that is buoying the market right now. LightPay is similar to BitPay in that it allows people who use Litecoin to store their Litecoin in a LightPay account and then use it at the swipe of a card. It'll automatically liquidate your Litecoin, send US dollars to the vendor, and both people win. You get to use your Litecoin, they get US dollars if that's what they prefer. Game over, right? This should be huge for Litecoin. If you remember, I think this was very beginning of January, end of December, Charlie Lee, who is the lead developer of Litecoin, posted a tweet saying there's a lot in the works. 2018 is going to be a massive year for Litecoin, and he listed a couple of things that, you know what, I just need to find the tweet. I know I used it in a recent article on my website. I'll see if I can pull this up. Yeah, I think this was it, actually. All right, so here's the tweet. The Litecoin team has been hard at work working with companies to support Litecoin. Nothing to announce yet, but here's what's in the works. A merchant processor, popular online wallet, a goods trading platform, and one huge unexpected surprise. So I would be willing to bet that LitePay is the merchant processor that he was talking about. That's pretty big news in and of itself. As far as I believe we're still awaiting deployment of the popular online wallet. A goods trading platform, I don't know if that alludes to something like Amazon, eBay, something like that. I can only imagine the impact that would have on the price of Litecoin if someone like Amazon picked up Litecoin. I don't know if that's what he's referring to, but I'm hoping. I have my fingers crossed. I do own some Litecoin. And one huge unexpected surprise. This, the reason why I even brought this up in this article is because Bittrex is, in light of the Tether subpoena from the CFTC, Bittrex, I believe, is going to be dumping Tether, but they are considering introducing US dollar deposits, which that's huge also. Bittrex is my main crypto trading account, so I'm very happy to see this happen. I'm hoping you're going to be able to buy Ether, Litecoin, Ripple, all the main coins using your fiat cash. That would make it so much easier, and it would allow everyone to circumvent the need for Coinbase, which I think everyone's pretty sick of Coinbase at this point. The fees are, well, a lot higher than like Bittrex or Binance trading fees. Coinbase is 1.5%. Bittrex is 1/4%. So Coinbase fees are 6 times as high. Now, when this happens, I know that the license to be able to trade crypto to fiat is very expensive. So I think that is the reason why Coinbase charges what feels like an exorbitant fee. Now, Bittrex, I'm not sure. It may charge similar fees. If you're going to be buying crypto using fiat, it might charge similar fees. I'm not sure. If not, though, you're going to be able to buy crypto using your fiat for 1/4%, and then that's going to have massive implications on Coinbase. I mean, who's going to go use Coinbase when they can trade crypto for 16% for 1/6 of the price? You know what I mean? I mean, Coinbase does have a very, very user-friendly user interface. It has a very, very easy to use, very streamlined app for smartphones. So, I mean, that's still a big thing going for Coinbase, but I think this will still pack quite a powerful punch for Coinbase if Bittrex does roll out USD deposits. How did I even bring that up? Oh, so I was hoping that this one huge unexpected surprise could possibly be a Litecoin trading pair. That would draw a lot more volume over to Litecoin, and that would be incredibly bullish for Litecoin, obviously. More volume always represents appreciation of the price, or almost always does. It brings with it demand, obviously, and demand is going to push up the price. So, enough on that. Let's see if we have some questions coming in. So if they had the same amount of transactions as Bitcoin, it would still be instant? Aren't most coins pretty quick just because they don't have the scale? That is a good point. Nano supposedly is maybe not infinitely scalable, but very, very easily scaled. Let me see if they... I want to say they quoted like 250,000 transactions per second or something crazy. Let's see here. All right, scratch that. I don't remember how many transactions per second Nano is supposed to provide, but the reason why this is so much more scalable than Bitcoin is because you don't have to reach consensus from God knows how many miners through God knows how many nodes. The way I understand this, it's very similar to IOTA's Tangle, where you're almost proofing your own transaction, because it only takes place on your own personal blockchain. There is no need for community consensus, which still kind of boggles my mind. But they still have checks and balances in place to make it secure. So that's a good question, a valid question. But yeah, that's what makes it more scalable than Bitcoin. So let's see here. Looks like Ripple's making another run there at $1. There is quite a bit of resistance there, like I already said. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I think CoinMarketCap was already showing like 104 for Ripple. CoinMarketCap did drop all of the Korean exchanges there for a while because the Korean prices were so much higher than everywhere else that it was kind of botching the average price, and it was making the price of everything look much higher on CoinMarketCap than it was on most of the other exchanges. So they went ahead and dropped Korean exchanges from their algorithm, but I believe I heard that they added them back. So I'm wondering if that's why we're now starting to see a discrepancy between CoinMarketCap prices and actual exchange prices. This is Ripple versus Tether on Bittrex. So we're still just shy of $1 there. However, if we look at CoinMarketCap, we're already at 105. Already at 105 for Ripple. So I'm thinking, I haven't looked at the, what is it, BitThumb? Let's check out BitThumb. I think this is the leading Korean exchange. If it has a really high Ripple price, like 110 or something, then that'll explain the discrepancy. There we go. All right, Ripple 106. So yeah, we are starting to see a disparity between Korean prices and, oh my goodness, yeah, Bitcoin 95.66 and just shy of 9,000 here on CoinMarketCap. That's crazy. So arbitrage is going to gain some traction once again. Very interesting. Almost 180 for Litecoin compared to 167. Let's see. I'll go ahead and talk about NEO because it's NEO has not been trading in line with Bitcoin. I mean, obviously, as Bitcoin crashed harder and harder, NEO eventually pulled back as well. But initially, Bitcoin was falling. NEO ran up to $200. It set a new all-time high during the initial part of the Bitcoin pullback. So anyways, it is going up with Bitcoin now. However, on the day that Bitcoin initially bounced off of 5,800, NEO was up 45%, and it was up 20% the day after. I'm sorry. So the low was like what, 58? I want to say for NEO, somewhere around 60, 83. That is definitely not right. Let's pull it up on TradingView. What's going on here? NEO. All right, so TradingView is showing the low of 64. Okay, so low of 64, and now it's trading at 118, almost 120. So we're almost double what NEO was at the low, whereas Bitcoin at the low was 6,000, and now we're at 9,000. 50% appreciation for Bitcoin, like 90% appreciation from NEO off the low. So it actually has been outpacing Bitcoin, and it's almost been trading opposite of the broader market, which I just thought was interesting. NEO is up 6% today. EOS is up 20. Cardano is up 25. Ripple's up 32%. So very small gain today for NEO comparative to some of the other leading coins. Now, it was when NEO was up 50%, though, the other coins were not at 50%. So it's just interesting to see NEO is kind of leading the way to an extent. It seems there seems to be more bullish sentiment with Neo than there is with most of the other coins out there. So I think what we can expect to see moving forward is on a really good day, we'll see a Neo spike, and then the other coins will spike after that. So Neo holders will start to take their profits, and the capital will kind of flow into other coins to an extent. That's just from my perspective what has been happening. There might be, if that trend continues, then you can easily trade that and make a profit. Only reason why I wanted to bring that up. But here we go. IOTA is back over $2. That's good to see. I don't know if you guys remember, IOTA was hacked. Tango was not hacked. What was it? One of the wallets was hacked. I forget the details. But so that was not good. That was during the midst of the Bitcoin pullback and the broader market pullback, and so IOTA was hit particularly hard because of that news plus the pullback there. But it's back over $2, so that's whatever. I don't own any IOTA. Let's see here, Dash 670 up 11%. Tron, oh my goodness, I don't understand all the bullishness behind Tron. I mean, there's been so much. They copy and pasted parts of their white paper. The lead developer did a live stream and completely made a joke of himself. Like, there's just been so much going wrong with Tron. I mean, it came out of nowhere. It was a sub 1 penny coin, and all of a sudden it jumped into the top 10 and stayed there for a while. It's up 50% today. Clearly, there are still quite a few buyers out there for Tron. I'm not one of them. I'll probably never be one of them. Bitcoin Gold. This is, man, I'm kicking myself for this one. Bitcoin Gold, I think, is going to see a renaissance similar to what Bitcoin Cash experienced. I mean, Bitcoin Cash was in the doghouse there for a while. You know, it spiked up to 1,000 right after the hard fork back in August, and then it slowly tapered off all the way down to about $300 until. You know, Roger Ver came forward and, you know, made a whole bunch of statements about Bitcoin Cash is the Bitcoin, and kept calling Bitcoin Core and all this stuff, and really drummed up a lot of, I guess you could say, hype. So Bitcoin Cash spiked up $4,000 somewhere around there from the low of 300. Absolutely crazy. Now, I don't know if I expect something to happen from Bitcoin Gold. The developers have been quiet for quite a while. Really haven't heard anything from them. But it was trading down around, I think, in the 60s, 70s. Now it's up at 162. So, okay, 82 for the low, based off CoinMarketCap, which is comparative to like the all-time low. Actually, well below it. So I wish I would have picked up some Bitcoin Gold. I knew this was going to happen, and I missed out. Anyways, Icon. This is your Korean Ethereum. Really hyped hard before the crypto crash, and it's not coming back as strongly as I expected. But then again, there's not a whole lot of positive developments around Icon. It's being used in some Korean vending machines, I heard, but it's not being embraced like Neo or Ethereum to the extent of ICOs being launched on top of it, nothing like that. So Icon, pretty underwhelming so far, in my opinion. Checking the comments again, what do we have? Man, this is surprising. We have no comments. Surprising, a little bit disappointing. No big deal, no big deal. What else do we have here? I think that pretty much covers it. I will point out one more thing. This is an article I wrote about a week ago, February 4th, I guess that was. The title is Bitcoin ATM Installations Skyrocket Through Market Correction. This is probably our all-time best performing article on Crypto Answers. But the reason why I think it performs so well is because even throughout this massive market correction, the companies that own these Bitcoin ATMs, they were unfazed. They continued to roll out roll out these new ATM locations, and now we're up to, like, let's see here, 1,300 and change. Over 1,300 ATM, Bitcoin ATM locations in the United States alone, more than 2,000 worldwide, and the amount of Bitcoin ATMs in circulation continues to skyrocket. I mean, this is a chart from 2013 when the first BTM was installed until now. It's pretty much a continuous parabolic trend there, and it just seems to be continuing. So even though there is a significant pullback in the crypto market, the infrastructure continues to grow, and to me, that's important. That is bullish, and I think our viewers, our readers, felt the same way. So I mean, 244 shares. That was well received among the community. Just wanted to mention that. All right, we're pretty stagnant here at 8 viewers, and I'm already starting to lose my voice. I don't know why. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks to everyone that did tune in. For anyone that was not able to make the live stream, maybe you'll be able to watch it later. I don't know. If that's the case, and you have questions, obviously I was not able to answer them during the live stream. Feel free to message us on our Crypto Answers Facebook community page. You can also email us at my email is cp@cryptoanswers.net. Feel free to shoot me any questions you may have. Aside from that, there are some comments on our YouTube videos and stuff like that. People asking, where have you guys been? Would love to see some technical analysis or an update, something like that. So for everyone out there that is kind of, that was motivating to me. It was good to hear. So thank you for that. It's good to hear that that you enjoy our content. So thanks again. Thanks for everyone that has tuned in. Hopefully we can come to you live in the near future. And until then, looks like we may be finally solidifying some gains with Bitcoin and the broader market. Hopefully this will continue upwards. We are now very, very close to 9,000. Zoom in here. There we go. This is a recent high, almost $9,000. We're about to test it. So continue to watch that. If we break 9,000, it should be, for the most part, off to the races. So let's cross our fingers. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. We might be able to come to you live once more this weekend. We'll just have to see what kind of news we're hit with and what kind of demand there is for a live stream. Anyways, have a good night, good weekend. Catch you guys later. Peace.